Hey, there it is. Okay. Hello, everybody. Now you know it's one of my streams. We had audio difficulties in the first immediacy of being live. My name is Ulfgarður, and welcome back to Yvardsaga. I'm excited to play tonight. Sorry it's been a late start. We had some players that had to end up working a little late because adult life is unfair in its demands upon us in relation to our desires to play D&D. Um, and also on that note, I am excited and a little sad to say this will be our last stream for a little while because uh, Pez and I are going to go on new parent leave here after tonight because we're going to be having our baby coming here pretty quick in the near future. So, yeah, we're excited about that. And I don't know how long it'll take before we come back, but we will be coming back as soon as we feel like we have the the hard drive space in our brains to think about anything imaginary and fun again that isn't trying to figure out how to keep a tiny human alive. But yeah, so we're just going to jump into things. I'll do a quick recap once we have the players in with us, but we're just going to go ahead and get started since we started late. I hope you guys have been well and hope you enjoy the rest of the session. And here goes nothing. Yeah, unfortunately, Pez, I am aware of the angled camera. It's just the setup that I have right now. I could straighten it out, but I'm not on camera hardly at all for the rest of the session, so I'm not worried about it today. Okie doke, we got that.
Have to share with the animals.
Sharing
Prof.
is overrated.
Right?
Okay, so everybody good? Everybody ready? You want to play some nerd game?
I'm ready. I wouldn't say good, but we're ready.
Fair enough. We'll see
You're
what we can
chaotic.
do to we'll see what we can do. Just in
Autumn had a rough
just in
2
general.
days.
Yeah. Well, I can't promise there won't be emotional trauma for tonight, but I promise it will be dramatic if there is.
Directed at Cole, not at Possum, thank you very much.
Okay, I might be able to commit to that. Okay, so to recap real quick, last time you guys made it to Aerith. You got to finish your travel to the city with Haria and Vidar. You did some chatting, mostly just with Haria. You got to go through a customs inspection again at the gate for what seemed to be training purposes of the city guard. There was a civilian who seemed to be in charge of the guard doing your inspection, and they at least notified you ahead of time that it was not a real, like, they suspect you of anything, but it was for training. And that was fun. You did have, I believe, only one, but possibly a second item confiscated and sent to the man in charge of all of Aerith, the Mossad caller, because it pertained to this village that you found in the middle of the wilderness. And apparently he's already looking into that, it seems, or at least seems aware. And the fact that it pertains to that situation was enough for the guards to say he'll want to see this and confiscate it from you. And their instructions were if you go give your account of what you saw there to him, he might let you take back any of it once he just knows what you saw. So that was your guys' first trip, or like first destination in the city, was to go find and meet the caller. And so you found yourself up on this large elevated platform that seems like it is the resident worship space or holy building for the Masad faith, which is mostly open on the top. There's a big old brazier burning in the middle, and I don't have a bunch of tokens on the map, but there are several groups of people up here congregating. Some of them seem like they're socializing, some seem like they might be just talking into the fire or praying. And just generally hanging out. This building in the back has 2 doors on it. You were instructed to go to the door you now find yourselves in front of, and Cole, I believe it was just about to knock on the door and see if you can find Mr. Bossman within.
Hell yeah.
Let's do it.
All right, Cole, as you raise your hand to go knock on the door swings open. And on the other side of it is a floating blue spectral hand that most of you would probably at least be vaguely familiar with, at least in concept, but probably seen at some point in your life, as it's a very low-level spell that is Mage Hand. And the Mage Hand just opens the door and beckons you in.
Definitely not cursed.
I was gonna say, I've used that spell, it's just normally invisible.
And as the door swings open and the hand moves out of the way, if my computer will cooperate with me, you see in the back of the small room that's there, a young, seemingly adolescent elven woman sitting on a similarly like arcane, softly glowing blue colored disc, sitting cross-legged on top of this floating disc that's floating about 2 feet off the ground. And the space around her on the disc and also nearby, there's not a lot of space in here, as you can see. It's a fairly small and cramped building. But everything around her is covered with piles of books. And she doesn't look up from the book she's reading, but as the door swings open and the hand beckons you inside, she kind of stops focusing on the book she was reading, but she doesn't look up at you. You can just tell she's not reading it anymore. And she says, "You were expected. The caller will be here shortly."
May we come in?
The door is open.
So, Cole takes that as an invitation, and try and stand where it's the least awkward. I don't know where that is. It's fairly tight in here.
That's true. It most certainly is tight in here, but she will float her little floating disc out of the way to make room on this little 2-seater bench opposite the door.
Yeah.
And she'll just go sit in a corner and mind her own business while you wait. Unless any of you feel like you want to engage with her.
Is this the waiting room? Are we also allowed to read?
Sorry, say again? I didn't quite hear
Is
you.
this the waiting room? Are we also allowed to read the books?
It is a library. The books are all accessible.
Out of character.
Yes, yeah.
Just missing the spell music.
Yes, yeah, would browse.
It's a strange, eclectic assortment of books in here. Some of them seem vaguely spiritual in nature, not necessarily a ton pertain to like specific deities or even like domains over which gods usually preside, like agriculture or light, death. nothing quite like that, but they're about a ton of different subjects. A lot of them do seem like they are history based, but not necessarily one aspect of history, like a certain culture or a certain time period or like military history. It's just all kind of scattered, and not just in the sense of it's not consistently the same, but also you might find a group of 2 or 3 military history books over here on one shelf, and on another shelf across the small room you might find more. So it doesn't necessarily seem like it's even super organized at this point. There are a couple books that's that have titles implying or outright stating that they discuss creatures from other planes of existence, like fiends, celestials, fae, but those are pretty uncommon. Like there might only be 2 or 3 of any of them at most. Some of them are just biographies of people you have probably never heard of.
Whose collection is this?
It has been selected from the Mossad Library and their other major holding. It is a work in progress.
Is there a book? You had mentioned about things about other planes. Is there one that's talking that might have to do with portals?
Excellent question. Uh, yes, there's one that is pretty, by the look and feel of it, seems like it's pretty old, and it's not super advanced or technical. More an introduction to the concept of portals and interplanar travel, as well as how like pocket dimensions can be brought to exist or dismissed, or a form of pocket dimension can be used to travel rapidly between locations in somewhat instantaneous time. So that as like a possible explanation for how teleportation works. But it seems like it's pretty like early theories about how stuff like that might work.
Gotcha.
But I mean, there are books that are just about the arcane in here also. Actually, a decent collection of beginner and intermediate level arcane theory, including stuff you could imagine maybe being part of coursework at the academy in Barrett Hold.
Let's grab some of that.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, you can absolutely start flipping through and studying, and basically it would be a 101 and a 201 level book for each of the recognized schools of magic. So abjuration, divination. I guess you wouldn't see. Well, yeah, you would. You would see divination books on the shelves. Um, restoration, all those classic spell types in 5e. That's how those sorts of like teaching material books are organized here. And they would have some stuff you could learn if you spent more time, but just kind of glancing through, you're probably not going to get any major revelations.
Gotcha. Still worth looking at.
Any other
Reading does a soul good.
It's true. So I've been told, at least. Any other potential interactions with the library as you guys are waiting?
You know what I'm looking for.
Eggs.
I do.
Just anything like herbalism or alchemy or
Oh, yeah. Yep.
wild medicine.
Yeah.
Maybe mind rotting.
There are definitely books pertaining to like survival skills. Herbalism and agriculture seem pretty prevalent, including a few that are organized by different regions of the world. So there's definitely plenty you could flip through to kind of pass the time. But it's not very long. You only have a couple minutes before the door opens and a middle-aged human man steps in. I don't have a reference photo for you, but he's fairly average build. He's got very dark hair that's been like salt and peppering, looks like for a while. A little bit less in his goatee, but he's got a full like mustache connected to the chin goatee, the full oval, if you will. And he walks in dressed very nicely, certainly has the air about him of somebody who is and should be in charge. And he walks in and sees your group and is a little surprised, but not necessarily in a bad way. And he looks at the elven girl and just asks, "Did you know this was coming?" "I did." "Please tell me when you know unscheduled appointments are arriving." "Yes, caller." Goes back to her reading.
I
Equivalent of
guess.
just
Okay.
thumbs up.
Welcome. Uh, I apologize. As you see, I was not expecting you here, but uh, it would seem you were expected nonetheless. So, forgive me if you've caught me a bit off guard. My name is Kester. I am the Mossad caller of this city and leader of the Mossad peoples in the area. What can I do for you?
I was the one who presented the uh, guards at the gate with the bit of demonic ash or fiendish ash, and would like to share with you what we discovered on our way from Darbiton.
Well, I would be eager to hear it. I would also be eager to see whatever this ash is. And he looks confused again over at the elven girl who holds up a small sack that presumably contains the item confiscated from you. And she floats her little disc over while still reading and just hands it out to him and goes back to her corner to continue reading. And
I like her.
he pulls it out and looks it over, and his confused hospitality aura around him, like the vibes, change, and he becomes very serious. "Where did you get this?"
There is a small village, might be a strong word, but cropping of houses north of Darbiton, between that and the Great King's Road. Was that Old King's Road? Great King's
Good
Road?
King's Road.
Good King's Road. Thank you. Um, there was, it appeared to be some kind of fiendish energy about. There was a signs of destruction from inside the houses, several strange growing vines, and then some horses that seemed out of place, that were pawing at a section of earth, keeping it raw, almost like a trench that this was buried in.
The biggest thing that you get a reaction from as you're listing all of these things you saw is the horses. How many of them?
I believe there was 9, if my number was right, or if I'm remembering right.
I mean,
Um,
you would tell him the number. I believe it was either 6 or 7.
okay.
But you would give him the accurate number of however many you saw.
And they had leather wrappings on their soles.
Excuse me a moment. And he leans back out the front door and very urgently calls for somebody who comes running. And he takes a moment to speak quietly with them and sends them away at a sprint down off the front of the fane where you came from. So something about that is apparently new and urgent. Okay,
The,
thank you. I needed to send somebody to recover those horses.
they seemed agitated, but very insistent upon this section of earth, and helped direct me towards uh, this piece of ash.
I will assume you do not know much about the Narian people, do you?
I'm assuming no.
You would have virtually no reason to, unless... Are you proficient in history?
Let me see. I am not proficient in it.
Yeah, then probably not.
I cannot say that I am familiar.
I had a group of very, very capable people investigating that place when we had first heard that it was attacked with rumors of demons being involved, and they have gone missing. One of them is of the Narian people. There's a tribe among the Sand Sage nomads down in Einborg, and in their culture, horses are a part of a person's soul. They bond with horses over the course of their life and believe that each horse represents a fragment of their own individual identity. And their horses are, from what I've seen and heard, absolutely remarkable in many ways. But they are deathly loyal. And if they were there at one spot, I am inclined to think that is the spot they last saw their human counterpart. And that is the exact number of animals I know he left with. And my faith and that tribe have a very strained history that myself and that young man, I think, were starting to be able to work past. And in the event that he returns hale and whole, I would like his herd to be also.
Cole's gonna look to Nemo. Would you like to share more about what we encountered?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Cole's gonna arch his eyebrows at her.
Um, I would say like the longer he stares at Nemo, he will get a very quick. Oh, damn it.
Carry on.
No. Um, like Cole gets a warning in a flash of a second.
Um. Oh. No, Cole doesn't know much about the Mossad. So he's gonna in Infernal say, "Why do you not want to speak of this?" It feels like fiends, uh, and what happened there should be shared and investigated if you want any sort of solace for your friend.
Oh, she moved on. She'll say in a firm. The solace has already been had.
And you have no concern of something like this happening again?
There's no guarantee that it could.
Until we know why it did, we won't know why it won't.
They can't know.
Which part? The communication or what happened? I can share what we were told, if that's acceptable.
Fine.
Taking a deep breath and then turning back to the collar Kestor. He's good. Trying to think of how to phrase this. We were provided some information that's. And we're told that the demons or fiends appeared in the houses um, and opened up a portal along the ground and attacked. And then the line of earth and this ash made it seem like that was, in fact, a portal where, if I read the horse's body language correctly, people went through.
That makes sense of accounts I've heard thus far. I find this this little sample of yours to be very interesting indeed. I've not heard of this coming from such incursion sites before, but it's been a long time since anybody I know has been near one.
My understanding was interplanar material dissipated after the entities no longer remained.
Yes, precisely. So I can only assume one of them must have been destroyed in the threshold, and this was what was left. Hmm. It is a very interesting piece, however, I do not think it's anything I should keep, but if you are remaining in the city for some time, may I call upon you to bring it back for any relevant assessment or study? by myself personally. And of course, before your own eyes.
That's agreeable. I anticipate we'll be here several days.
Very well. May I ask your names, so that I know whom I should be sending for?
I am known as Cole.
Is Nima gonna wait to introduce herself until after Yeshier?
Yep.
Offers a hand or a wave, depending on the distance they're standing. I know I didn't technically enter the room, but
Let's be
Yeshier
honest,
Loten.
you can reach your hand across this room and shake hands.
Pretty much anywhere in that room.
Stands outside, grabs a book off the back wall's shelves.
Yeah, Yeshier Loten.
And you can talk
Could you repeat that, Brad? I didn't hear you.
she just tells him, same old, you can call me Nina.
Okay.
Well met, my friends. Thank you for this accounting of what you found. I have people who are attempting to investigate more of what happened, but it is a slow process that very few people are familiar enough with to know how to look for more information. But if nothing else, I am quite grateful for your reports of having seen the horses. The last several times anybody I had asked to go investigate was there, they had reported not seeing them. So that alone is a significant encouragement to me, and something for which I am very grateful. Tell me, do you know where you might be staying?
Is there there's an inn in town, is there not?
There are several, yes.
How about one with the bath?
Once again, I didn't hear that, Rad.
How about one with the bath?
Well, in that case, I would recommend two. There's the Black Moon Inn or the Golden Maiden Lodge. Whenever you get to either place, give them this token. And as he goes to hand Cole back uh, the ash chunk that was confiscated from you, he also hands you a golden coin that isn't your standard one gold piece currency. It's a bit larger and it's stamped on both sides with a very stylized depiction of a burning flame. In appreciation for your report and your assistance, I would be happy to cover your lodging while you stay. Please give them this token and they will know to bill me for your expenses.
That is very generous, thank you.
Before they leave, and I wanted the conversation to happen before I ask. But during all this, I would like to say Nemo would kind of discreetly check out the place and see how well this room's guarded.
Okay. As far as you can tell, the only security to this room is the fact that it does not have exterior windows, and the front door seems like it has a lock. But at face value, that's all you can see. If you would like to make an investigation check to look for anything further, you may.
Yes, because I'm great at those. Good night. Nope.
Okay. Uh,
I don't see shit.
nope, that's all you're
Man,
able
we
to
ain't
suss
found
out.
shit.
Yeah, it looks like a standard front door lock built into the door, but otherwise you don't see any sort of protective measures. Down at the base of the stairs, down back into the town square, there were some armed guards that were not equipped or dressed like the standard gate guards that you saw, or any of the city watch patrolling the streets. So they seem like they might be some kind of temple security, but they're down on the ground level. You don't see anybody up here once you got up the stairs that looked like they were any sort of armed presence or enforcement.
What next?
Well, I
We
think
wanna... Go ahead.
I think unless you have anything else for me, I don't think I have much further for you at this time as far as questions, but I may call upon you if I think of something from your account that I would like to ask about further, but for right now I have nothing. I would, however, before you leave, wish to speak to Miss Nemo privately for a moment.
Yeah, she's in trouble.
She looks at the other two like so helplessly. Don't leave me. I'm sick.
I think I got the black lung, Pop.
Cole, look at Nemo. As long as that's all right with you.
What's the matter of the discussion?
Simply a couple of questions about you and your friends.
She has a bit of a nervous disposition. Talking about her like she's a chihuahua.
I assure you I mean no harm, purely for my own curiosity, if you will.
As you can see, she is so very small, and she's had a hard day, and she has very little money. um,
Yejie will abandon Nemo.
yeah, so we'll call. You're an adult. You can leave if you need to.
Traitors.
Caller Kester also looks over at the elven girl in the corner and like clears his throat at her. And she looks up suddenly as if entirely forgetting there were other people in her proximity. Sarathi out. And she just whirs out the door after. Well, she actually goes in the back, out that back door in the room, and closes the door behind her. So, briefly, Possum and Yejie, I'm going to put you in the waiting room, but it should not be long.
Hooray!
Bye bye.
All right, Nemo. So Caller Kester closes the door behind your friends exiting.
Let me guess, you speak Infernal.
He does not.
Okay, cool.
At least, if he does, he doesn't address you in Infernal. But he does sit down on this bench over here and look at you and ask, before I say anything else on the subject, do your friends know what you are?
And like the look she gives him, the little tilt in the head, like Sir, racial profiling kills. Be better.
Do you say it?
Yes.
Do not lie to me, Shaikiba. I know what you are. And I asked them to leave as a courtesy to show you that I respect your discretion if they do not know. My people have a long history with fiends. I know what the Shaikiba are. And if I were to follow my doctrine, I would I would be compelled to banish you before you left this room. But as you can see, I am not so inclined.
The shift from uh like sassing to anger to fear. I haven't done it wrong.
And that's why I wanted to speak and understand the nature of what your friends know. I'll not out you if they don't know, provided you cause no problems in my town. And I don't say that because you're Shaikiba, I say that because I don't know you.
They, as far as they know, I'm just a hack.
Very well. I will mention nothing untoward to anybody. All I ask is whatever you have come here to do, whoever you have come to my town to see, please just bring no attention to yourself, to your group, because if anybody else were to recognize what you are, I do not want you to have to deal with that trouble, because I'm not sure I could protect you.
I haven't done anything wrong.
And I hope it stays that way. Not for my sake, but I believe in letting people prove that they don't conform to a stereotype. You are traveling with what seem to be a fair and good group of people, and that says much. I just want to understand your situation enough so that I don't betray the trust of your friends on accident. That is all I wish to know. But do know that banishment is an option. If you know of any other such beings, like those that came into that village, if you know of any in the area, please, I beg you inform me. Because I cannot risk that happening to another group of people so unprotected. So if you see or hear anything, please inform me. My people historically have had most of our conflicts and confrontations with demons. But we still know and understand devils a fair bit as well. and I think you would be more inclined to see some of the things other people might not, to indicate potential trouble involving either. So all I ask is you put some faith in me, as I have put some faith in you, and we can work to make everybody's lives a little better than they might otherwise be in these strange times when the world tears apart and destroys rural communities with no warning. Does that sound fair?
You got yourself a deal.
Very well. That is all I had to ask. Welcome to Arif, and I mean it with all the hospitality in my heart. If you or your group need anything, as a group or you as an individual, please do not hesitate to come find me.
He ponders for a second. I do. Do you know an alchemist, like a really good alchemist?
I do.
Artificer.
I do. There is an artificer in town, very young, but very capable, by the name of
Oh,
Hurik Lodur. And a friend of his named Bibine is a very capable alchemist. If you inquire about them, they should not be too hard to find.
okay. Sounds good.
Okay. Unless you have any other questions or comments for the caller, I am content to assume you depart.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Talking.
Speaking of talking,
Hey!
welcome back. All right.
Mhm. Oh, my
Eventually,
mic works.
yeah.
It usually doesn't when you pull me back into the channel. It like takes 30 seconds usually.
Oh heck.
Right.
After just a couple of minutes, Nemo exits the building, and y'all are presumably free to go about your day.
Me two bit no good lousy friends. Us two clearly never went to school together. But one of us gets called in the principal office. We all go together.
What did he even ask you about?
Shut the hell up. You left.
I am not surprised at all at that answer. I would have been surprised if you told me, honestly.
And she just didn't brush that one off.
Doesn't want to admit she's predictable.
First of all, how dare you describe something that is so in character for me?
Like, how dare you actually know me? Oh, I have a name for an alchemist and an artificer. You guys want to go check those out? Where are we going next?
Yeah, do we want to get a hotel first or do we want a hotel? I heard there's a
Yes,
Marriott down the street.
I believe the Ritz Carlton is nearby. Yes.
Do we want to find a place to stay first or do we want to unload some of this cargo?
Damn, I usually closed right there.
It's funny.
It is a free action.
Shit, you're right.
So you guys like the bits. You think I'm funny?
Oh, yeah.
I hope.
Do we know where Kirik is?
You would have been told, like, given directions pretty well. vaguely, not necessarily from this point, but like a couple of landmarks. I mean, there would be an address, but I don't think any of you know Aerith well enough to inherently know where that is. But like, you can ask random people on the street and eventually get there.
Fair.
I guess we can get a room first.
I'm for it.
To the Black Moon. Because I like the name.
Same.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, fair enough. So asking around looking for the Black Moon Inn, it takes a little bit. Just because from the plaza, so I don't have a map. I know I have somewhere handy because I forgot to look for it. But so the way Aerith is built is, as I described in the last session, it's extremely well fortified, and so there's very little of the city outside of the walls, like slums or expansion that's really spread outward. So the city is very well contained, and it's shaped almost kind of like a bullet, where the south side is pretty straight within the walls, just like a straight line, 90-degree, and then the north and southward walls on either side of it go up, but then they turn into kind of a half circle on the north side. And the city is in that sort of northern half circle section of town. Pretty close. There's a gate like you came in on the east side. If you just kept traveling straight on that same road all the way across the city, there's a gate just like it on the west side. And then partway through going up to the northern part of town, there's a gate going north. And the Black Moon Inn is about 2 blocks away from that northern gate. So from the plaza, which isn't exactly in the center of the city, but close enough, like it'll still take a decent little walk to get there, especially if you don't know exactly where it is. But you will be able to get there and find your way. You just have to ask passersby every now and then, or like a local vendor.
We walked past it 5 times.
No, it's got a big old sign you can't miss.
Oh, okay.
Also, it is one of the more distinct architectural presences in the city. Because last time I described how much of Aerith is built not necessarily in the same style, but out of the same materials. And it's a gray stone that's pretty, even though it's gray stone, like it's a very particular, somewhat distinct type of gray stone that is very much associated with Aerith for people who have been here before. But this building is black, and it's built with a bunch of odd little hard edges, almost like weird columns that might not be recognized right away, but this place is built out of basalt. And like the exterior has been largely left to reflect that material in its somewhat natural state. And there is nothing else like it that you've seen in Aerith so far.
What's basalt?
It's the really weird natural rock formations that are like hexagons and like pillars.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but it just grows naturally like that for some reason, or however basalt comes in. Yeah, it forms. It's
I like grows.
yeah. I'm not a geologist. I'm a tree guy. Everything grows. Uh, but they left it trying to look around the outside of the building, like the natural basalt columns that it's made from. So whoever built this probably spent a fucking fortune getting that stone brought up here for this. And
And
it,
McGrath's like the other two scenes. I like their style.
and as you step inside, they have like a kind of a porch going around the building. It's located on an intersection, so like they have kind of a wraparound porch that would let you sit if you would so desire and just kind of watch the city go by in on either street. And a big old sign that is just a black crescent moon dangling over the porchway. So like if that thing ever falls, it might decapitate a horse, but it looks like it's pretty solid. So hopefully that doesn't happen anytime soon. At least not.
That's pretty metal.
Going on Nemo's vision board.
And as you step inside, the whole place looks extremely lush and very, very luxuriously decorated. There are some very nice sitting chairs and sofas that look like they have been upholstered in some very expensive fabrics that are immaculately clean. The air smells of incense that you can't see it burning, but it very much smells like the real thing, not necessarily like somebody just cast Presto to magically put that smell in the air. Like little subtle differences if you can cast Presto yourself between the real thing and the imitation thing. But like somewhere in the back, they must be burning incense, and somehow the airflow is moving it into this room, and it smells rich and lovely. Like as you step through the door and see this place, and all over the walls there are tapestries of assorted magical beasts from legend and or myth. And just walking into this atmosphere, you immediately feel like, ooh, just by being in here, I feel like maybe I could be a nobleman. Because if this is what their life is like, I could get used to this sort of thing. Like it's a very fancy schmancy kind of place. And back behind the bar, well, it's not really a bar. It is just a counter, because this doesn't necessarily look like. No, sorry, I'm getting that mixed up with the other place. This one does also have a bar. So, yeah, the innkeeper, barkeeper, this is a tavern and inn. Which, in Evard, that's not always the case. But in this institution, it very much is. And there's not a lot of people hanging out in, like, the tavern dining area, but, like, the sitting area is its own space. Sorry, I forgot to make a map for this institution, so I can't visually show you at this time, but I'll have one prepared for next time. Um, and behind the bar is a human woman who you can tell by the way she has her coat pinned. She has a really nice, like, thin reddish brown leather coat with, as she turns around and moves about the room as you interact with her, has the black crescent moon embroidered on the back of the coat. But like this is like a long coat, not quite a trench coat, but it's not just like your average it's cold outside jacket either. But she has the left arm pinned in, so she is apparently missing that particular limb. And she whistles the entire time she's not talking to somebody. She looks like she's in maybe early middle age, And as you guys walk up, she stops what she's doing and goes over to whatever part of the bar you approach. All right, what can I do for you?
Nemo
Uh,
nudges Cole.
We're looking for a couple of rooms, and I was instructed to provide you with this. And he will hand over the golden token.
Oh, okay. Okay, getting in good with the high and mighty in town. Not a problem for me. I get paid either way. So how many rooms? Do y'all share? Do you split? Or 2-in-1 kind of thing?
Cole's gonna hold up 3 fingers. 3, please.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that. You have an idea how long you're staying for? Typically, these tokens are only good for up to a week.
We can go with a week. Past that, we could pay our own way.
Ah, usually, I just need to know if you're going to stay longer. Usually, the caller will cover it. I just have to inquire and see if he's still willing. But I haven't known him to not refresh past a week. He's got enough going on. I have to be the one to ask.
Gotcha. We'll have a better idea in a few days.
Okay, yeah, sure. First time in Arif?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Well, my name's Catrain. I'm the one in charge around here. I'm here most of the time. Uh, if if you need directions, recommendations, I've been here for a long time. I was here before the city fell, and I came back after it stood back up. So, yeah, just let me know if you need something. Otherwise, 2 meals a day provided. You can pick the two. Usually breakfast and dinner are what most people choose, but just let me know. I'll make a note of it, and we can bring it to your room unless you feel like being social in public. But otherwise, yeah, we'll room service whatever you need.
Yeah.
We're looking for an artificer named Hurik. Would you know where they are?
Um, that sounds familiar.
Has a metal sun.
Oh, he made that guy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, he's over in like I don't know exactly where he is, but he's over like southeast of the plaza a little bit, more east than south. Um, I don't think he has a name for his shop or anything, but if you poke around in that area, they'll point you right to him. Like it's a pretty recognizable place. It's out front, it's just a big work zone. So there's just piles of shit everywhere, and he might be inside. Sometimes he's working outdoors on a bench outside, but I think he's the only one that works there, so you might have to knock if you don't see him out and about. But he young kid, and I say kid, I fucking mean kid. He's like 16 years old or equivalent. I don't know exactly what that is for moles. I've never been able to figure that out, even though I lived in Aerith when it was mostly dwarves. But like he's still awfully young, but somehow he made a person out of metal. So apparently he's pretty good.
Nemo nods. Yeah.
I'll tell you what. If you can find, there's a shop that is, as far as I know, entirely unique to this town since since the liberation. That should be a lot easier to find, and it's like 2 blocks away from there, going like away from the Good King's Road, going south. If you can find the Sugarsmith
Ooh.
shop
Ooh.
and just go down past there, you'll find him.
think I know her too.
You do.
Ah! Also from the roleplay thingy.
Yeah. The the way Rad/Nemo met a bunch of these characters outside of canon
Yeah.
events. She made an appearance there.
Yeah.
But yes. Which, by the way, if any of you ever get a sweet tooth, you should check out that Sugarsmith lady. She's awesome. You might need an interpreter, but it's worth it. But anyway, can I have somebody's name to put on the rooms? Just, in case something breaks or I don't know, I have to call one of you for a courier?
Nemo points at Cole. Cole.
Cole. Oh, sure. I can work with the Cole. Cool. She produces a paper and starts writing stuff on it. Just looks like a standard, like, guest information sheet, which a lot of inns don't necessarily do, but it's not unheard of. Especially for like a nicer place like this, it makes sense they would probably want to keep better records of who's been coming through in case, some nobleman comes and trashes his room. Yeah, but here you go. Here's a key. Um, this is gonna sound really weird, but once it gets to like sundown thereabouts, or like a busy tavern time, and there are a bunch of people in here, if you need anything from me, please walk up and make sure I can see you and think what you need to me. Because past a point, I cannot handle all the noise very well, and I just get like so angry, and it's not anybody's fault. But if you let me know what it is you want by thinking it at me, I can hear it. I'm sorry if that freaks anybody out, but like it's okay. I can't extract anything from you. You have to be like willing to send it to me. It it comes more naturally than it sounds, but like it works and it keeps me sane. So
So Cole's gonna think. I heard you offer baths.
yeah, we do.
Cole's gonna nod. Got it.
Yeah, 3 silver for a bath, 5 if you want it warm.
Don't get us kicked out.
Hmm?
Don't get us kicked out.
You guys didn't hear what I asked, so she just said, "Yep, 3 for silver and 5 if you want it warm." No.
But otherwise, you'll be given a key to your rooms, and yeah, otherwise, Catrain's willing to cut you loose.
I have a question.
Out of curiosity, what's the distance that we need to be for you to hear our requests?
Like here, like within a few feet across the bar, it's way easier if I can see you and know that you're trying to interact with me, then I can pick it up a little better. Otherwise, it sounds like background noise in the hall that I'm trying to tune out.
Gotcha. So across the room, not gonna work.
It might, if it's otherwise quiet, but not
What if
not super reliable.
what if I think extra loud?
Please don't. The whole point is to avoid noise, and thinking too loud can come across as way worse than a hall full of people.
Typing in all caps.
What was her appearance again? Hair color? Also?
Sorry, say again.
What was her appearance again?
She is a like early middle-aged human woman. She's got a like red brown coat with the crescent moon logo on the back. She has dark hair. She's missing her left arm. Um, Otherwise, she's fairly fairly unremarkable appearance-wise. Like those are the main details.
Yeah. Never mind.
It looks like, as she said, she's probably from this part of the fringe. Shares similar like general stature, facial structure, skin tones as a lot of other humans you've seen in and around the fringe.
Yeah.
Um,
It's just that she shared a name with somebody.
mm, Not the same person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ba, ba,
So yeah.
ba. Yes, as far as other staff you see at the inn on your way to your rooms or on your way out, you do see a half-elf woman, a human woman that looks like she's probably from Einborg. She has a much darker skin tone, and when you hear her speak, she has very much a southwestern Einborn accent. So whether or not she came here with the refugees, unknown, but originally probably not from anywhere super near here. And then in the very back, you would see them pop out like twice very quickly. They have a tabaxi in the back that appears to be the cook and maybe like the table clearer.
Oh.
The main thing about the tabaxi is they are missing a significant portion of their teeth.
Oh no. Too much sugar. That's the Nemo's headcanon. Too much sugar.
Too much sugar? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fair.
It's
Too
the
many.
better option.
Yeah, too many trips to the sugar smith.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Alrighty. So we're dropping off our stuff.
Yep.
Oh,
Yee.
okay. Where are we going next?
Sounds like the sugarsmith.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Are you wanting to go into the sugarsmith or just use that as the reference point to continue on to the artificer?
Just reference point.
Okay.
Um, um, I, as we
Nemo's
walk,
gaze follows the shop as they wheel past them.
yeah,
Ooh.
that's Cole has something he was gonna say here in a second. Um, I'm trying to remember where I have it written down of what exactly it is that Cole owes Nemo.
I
Oh,
believe it
she
was just.
remembers.
I, I, I don't believe there were a lot of specific terms to it.
But I wrote it down. I'm frustrated I can't find it.
Fair.
Like pages keep falling out of this freaking notebook. But as we walk by, Cole's gonna nod towards it and say, "You think they'll? Here it is. Um, oh, it just says a favor, so that's something else. Because
Yeah, he
that
owes
was
her
for the
multiple.
that was for the healing salve. What did it was like a sweet roll or something specific. Um, but he is gonna motion to the shop. You think they'll have the sweet you need?
Maybe. I want a baker's dozen, though.
All right.
Yes. Excellent. Okay.
Okay. Does that mean you're going in now or you're going in later?
Later.
Later.
Okay. Yeah.
That's a whole episode on its own.
It very well might be, which I appreciate because I will need to prepare for that character voice.
Yeah.
Very particular character voice that I have not practiced before tonight in a long time. So I appreciate you sparing me that for now. But yes, so as directed, you navigate your way through the town. Uh, Things seem to generally be pretty fair in the city as far as what you can see. There are a, a wide variety of people, far more than even hearing about all of the different folks coming to relocate permanently or just travel through Arif lately. Like the diversity here is honestly probably kind of overwhelming, except maybe for Nemo, just because Garrett is a wildly
Into
diverse place and full of people coming and going from all over the world. But one of the things you notice is there are a lot more marked people than you've probably seen in any other one place in a very long time, if not ever. Do the three of you remember and understand what I mean when I say a marked person?
Yes.
Okay. So, for chat, then, for those who don't know, briefly, essentially, if someone is marked, it means they are currently or formerly were a slave in the nation of Einborg, or at least purchased down there, because they're tattooed on their face, necks, a little bit on their hands, possibly. But the whole idea is it is a codified tattoo system so that you can, if you know how to read it, you can look at a person in a slave market and see everything you would care to know about them at a glance without needing to ask questions before you buy. So they're a lot more prevalent in certain parts of the world than others, but particularly one of the defining things about marked people, if you know that code system, and even if you don't, there's one tattoo most people who have spent any amount of time around the marked would recognize, and that is a freedom band. And that is just a broad black band tattooed on their cheekbone going up over the bridge of their nose to the other cheekbone, and that signifies they've been legally set free according to the laws of the nation of Einborg, which if if a place buys slaves from there, they usually follow the same customs for like setting a person free. Uh, Most of the marked here in Arif that you will see in passing or in interactions, the overwhelming majority of them do not have a freedom band. But you will see them going about and doing things you would not expect a slave to be able to do if they were still indentured. Well, indentured isn't the word, if they were still enslaved. Um, so, depending on your background and experience with that aspect of the world, it may be kind of weird. It may not be. It may be encouraging and something that brings you joy to see. But if you notice that, it's definitely something that would take some getting used to as you spend more time in the city. That said, as you guys are going, and
I guess just a quick question on that,
yes,
Wolf. With the raising of DeLorne, was there like a mass? What's the word I'm looking for?
Exodus.
Yeah, well, Exodus and
liberation.
liberation of slaves of the marked, or are they? Now, how is the rest of the world treating
Tell us
the
the
refugees?
propaganda.
So that would really. The quick and easy answer is it depends on where you are when you see them. If if you are in a place where slavery and enforcement of ownership over marked people is legally supported, or even like not even if it's like you can buy slaves in this country, even if you are not from here but you're traveling through and you have slaves, we acknowledge that they are yours to treat how you want. There are some parts of the world that is the law. Like, we won't let you buy or sell people here, but your people are yours, and we won't, try and enforce things to the contrary. Like, in those places, that's about what you can expect, is those rules would still be in place. If a marked was present and they still had somebody claiming ownership of them, at least that is a safe assumption that that dynamic and that institution would still be present there. I don't think any of you would know off the top of your heads if that's something Arif supports, opposes, or tolerates, or anywhere in between. But it seems like with the amount of marked people you see without them going about and doing a lot of things that typically you would not expect to see a slave allowed to do on their own, unsupervised, it's entirely possible that even if in Arif they're still considered property and legally protected, or legal, if the city recognizes the legal ownership of them by a free person who has purchased them, it's entirely possible with the amount of people that fled and spread out among the world and have claimed asylum in especially Arif apparently these days, that they may just not have an owner anymore. In which case, that's kind of a weird situation to be in for them and for the people in the city around them, especially if they are supporting those laws. But I don't think any of you has any reason to know right now what the laws are in Aerith pertaining to slaves and marked people. So it would just kind of be confusing in general. That long, rambling, vaguely approach and answer to your question, or should I be more
Yes.
direct?
No, that did. It's a complicated situation
Yes.
depending where you are, um, and even some of the situation of the marked themselves and the people they're with.
Yep. Um, for baseline expectations in the Fringe, who knows? The three major cities in the Fringe are all independent city-states who pass their own laws with no shared guaranteed values between them. Off to the one side in Garland historically has always opposed slavery. They have never tolerated it. Barrett Hold was one of the leading buyers of marked people from Einborg for a very, very long time. So over in Barrett Hold, they get kind of weird about the laws, but ultimately owning slaves is legal. Acquiring slaves within Barrett Hold is not super simple. Like, they try and pretend like they're better because they make it hard to buy slaves, but like they still enforce those laws. So, since you guys are kind of in between those two nations right now, that would be a baseline assumption in those cultures. Just wanted to make sure that got mentioned. But so you find the sugarsmith, and the sugarsmith is a surprisingly large business. Like, the building itself is really big, and there is a line out the door. And it looks like the building has one or two areas of expansion currently under construction. Like, apparently it is a fucking happening place right now. So if you have spare gold you want to invest in, you know, somebody else's entrepreneurial venture, that might be a place to consider. But
Well, sugar was called white gold for the longest time.
yeah, and it is not a super common thing still in a lot of the world, including the fringe. Like, I mean, most places will have it, but it's not going to be as commonplace and cheap as it is IRL today. Like, it's still fairly expensive to get enough to do more than basic baking with. So it's pretty exciting thing around here. There's grown-ups, old folks, tons of kids, all in line, excited about this place. So, yeah, it's definitely a landmark, even though it doesn't seem at the forefront like it should be, just as a place that it's just a business, you know. Uh, but seeing it with your own eyes, you realize, no, this is kind of prominent. And as you travel and move past according to the directions you were given, um, you enter a residential area. There's not a lot of shops, but eventually you do see one larger building that is uh, a larger one-story space and then like a second story over half of it. And a decent part of that first story space is just an outdoor workshop, open air kind of thing. And as described, there is just it it is a it's not dirty, but it's cluttered in the way that a workspace in regular use is cluttered. But there's nobody outside.
I do believe we were told to knock.
You want the honors?
Might as well. I'm holding his possible other children.
Yeah, deliver them like a stork.
A stork
No,
carrying
I
a
got
bag
the
of
long
holding in its beak.
Yeah.
So, the SGA will go ahead and knock, as they were instructed to do.
Okay. It takes a little bit. You hear some noises from inside of just like some project ongoing. Stop and just like go quiet.
Look again.
But no, yeah, nobody comes to the door.
I knock, but louder.
Okay, within a couple moments you can hear things getting set around and like moved around and like set down and feet coming over to the door, and the door opens and a young mole, so like a half elf or a half orc, but a mole is a half dwarf. And contrary to what you might think a half dwarf might look like height wise, they're often pretty tall. Like their average baseline height, I believe, is higher than a human's. Not by a ton, but they're usually expected to be just as tall, if not a little bit taller than a human, but have the square stature and hard structure of a dwarf. And the door opens, and there is a young mole man, and I say young man generously because he really does look really young, but still, he's mostly adult sized. But he has like the babyest face.
He's not full grown. It's
He-
like looking at a Maine Coon.
Yeah, and there is not a hair on his face, which moles don't always have beards, and usually if they do, they're more in line with the human end of facial hair than the dwarven end. But it's still uncommon to see a mole that is entirely like shaven on their face. He's got just a little cap on over his hair, but his hair is also seeming to be kept pretty short. unlike traditional dwarven hairstyles. But he has like a bigger, more rounded out nose that, besides the start of his stature, is another kind of giveaway to his ancestry. And he looks a little surprised to see you guys. He goes, "Yeah? Can I help you?"
Yajie will turn around enough that he could see one of the breastplates strapped to her bag/back. And yeah, we met 10th.
You meant, "Oh! Oh! Did he give you that?"
And more, she's going to not dump the bag, but she's going to reach into the bag of holding and pull out pieces that are obviously too big to fit, and like pull out a piece, put it back, pull out a piece, put it back.
Oh, he sent you.
Because you're Huric, right?
Yes. Yeah, I am.
Yes, he sent us.
Okay.
Maybe we should have confirmed his name first.
Um.
Yeah,
Well.
maybe.
Yeah. Sorry. Come in. Sorry, I was.
I'm about to be a father again.
Oh, that's always weird to think about. I'm used to him calling me his father, but I don't know if I feel like he's really my son. But I don't not. It's weird. I don't know how to feel about it, honestly, but like, I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited to apparently get to try again. Um, so thank you for being willing to bring all this here. I wasn't expecting it to show up for another couple weeks.
Yeah, I think he said he was working his way back, but we were a little more expeditious, I believe.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting him back for another like 10 days or so, I think.
Where would you like his siblings?
Yeah. Looking around, there are not a lot of good places in the shop for the amount of stuff you're about to unload. Um, I'll tell you what. Could you take them upstairs? It's a little less crazy up there until I can kind of prep things a little better to make more sense of it. I'm in the middle of some other experiments right now, so I'm not sure I could really move a lot to give it the space and organization it should have when it's down here. Would that be okay? You
Yeah,
mind going up in my room
you,
and just putting it on the floor?
you might want a couple of armor stands or something, but yeah.
They're up there. No, there's some up there.
Oh, then yeah, definitely.
I mean, I knew they were coming eventually. Uh,
Would the
Doesn't always
shop have
appear when you
actually
visit.
would the shop have actually been cleaner in about 10 days?
No.
are you asking him?
Yeah, as she's like getting herself in. I feel like the shop probably isn't made for someone her size, so she's like bundling herself up a little to be able to get in and maneuver.
I
And
mean-
she will ask that.
I mean, you would have to crouch, but that's going to be pretty much anywhere in town. So like that's
fair.
not super uncommon for you at this point. Um, but I mean, he's closer to your physique than the majority of people
That's
you've seen
true.
in town, so it's vertically not necessarily any better, but like there's a little bit more room for wider space. But he kind of hangs his head and he goes, "Man, I know we just met, but you're coming at me awful hard. It doesn't mean you're wrong, but yeah, my dad always said I kept a pretty rough workspace."
I'm kind of an artificer and researcher myself, so I understand.
Oh, you are?
Not in the way you are, she motions like to all the bits of his experiments on the table, but in my own way. That's how my grandma explained it to me, at least. And she'll use the dwarven words. that her grandmother would have always like
Hmm.
lump her skill set into.
Yeah, which he seems to appreciate pretty notably. Like, that gets him pretty excited to hear you referring to any aspect of like artificy tradecraft in the dwarvish language. Kind of
Yeah,
perks
it
him up.
probably translates a little more to like craftsman
Yeah.
in dwarvish.
Yeah.
Brad, was that a response from you figuring that out or from Nemo figuring that out?
A bit of both.
From figuring what out? I'm not sure what was said that
I was in
sparked.
denial for so long. I was like,
That
she has to be
Yeshe was an
NDA.
artificer.
Oh, yeah.
Man,
She
I realized
purifies
that.
things and she heals.
Yeah, I realized that after. It's like, oh, her highest stat is intelligence. It's higher than Cole's, and she doesn't have a estuary. It's like, oh, artificer using eggs. Boom.
Eggificer.
No, I was trying to go like the more organic approach to this.
Fair enough.
Well, like same. That's why we haven't clarified anything. But I've done my math and my
You do math?
connections to draw for both of y'all.
You do math. Gross.
I know. I had to do some to get a piece of paper.
Yeah. No, that doesn't add up to me, so I won't. Um, wait, so would you be willing to help me a little bit? I know that's probably kind of weird. Like, you just got here and you don't know me, but I'm not entirely sure I could do what I did again.
I mean, I have had some thoughts on things that could inspire the weave,
I'm open.
so I'm always down for a collaboration.
I'm open to it. I mean, I've got, I think, a pretty good handle on Weaver's notes, but some of it's still kind of wild, and it took a lot of attempts to get 10th running and like to keep him alive. The first one or two times he moved on his own, it didn't take. Like, he twitched a bit and then died.
That's horrifying.
Well, I don't know that he was ever alive though. Like, it it was like I had to trial and error a lot of stuff that I don't fully understand still. Like, I I dropped out of the academy to come here. And I didn't come here thinking I was going to be creating life where there was none. So, like, yeah, if you want to collab a bit, I'd be all for it.
Well,
What
it's my
was
understanding
your
we'll be here for a little bit, so.
what was your goal when you started experimenting?
Well, simple stuff, you know? Like a horseshoe that lets your horse move faster. I thought it was going to be really cool if I could make like a horseshoe or reins, like a bridle for a horse that could maybe get a horse to like walk on water, or maybe like run 5 feet over the ground so it didn't matter how rocky it was. Yeah, or like I just wanted to start there, like it's hard stuff, but for compared to the one thing I've managed to do so far of major proportions, it's like it's nothing. It's small stuff. But like my my parents make weapons, and I didn't want to make weapons, but I still wanted to make something nobody else really could. And well, it's been pretty rough. I'm not gonna lie. One of my teachers died earlier this year, so that's been pretty hard. And the other one went missing, so I'm really just kind of stuck teaching myself as I figure this out.
You
So-
know, grabs Cole's wrist and in Infernal. He met her for all of 2 minutes and he already invited her to his bedroom. I like them for each other.
Shipping a Yejier with everyone in Aerith.
Every NPC she has a positive encounter with.
Cole is gonna laugh heartily at this one. And he says, they do have a lot in common now, don't they?
He's adorable. Bless his
Also
soul.
also an Infernal.
Yeah.
Guys, also keep in mind he's like 16.
Oh.
What's that in mole years? What's mole age in human years?
He is the equivalent of 16.
Oh, okay.
The
Never mind.
maturity equivalent for his species.
That's fair.
I forgot his age.
Like, let him,
Give it a few years.
yeah,
Yeah.
let him sit in a barrel for a couple more years, age up a bit,
Is that why he's that shape?
maybe.
Yeah, it's for
But
riding
Yejier-
barrels.
Yejier is only a few years older, right?
She is, yeah. She's like upper teens, I think I have her at.
Yeah.
I thought she was,
early 20s.
yeah,
she's
maybe
low
20.
20s, yeah.
Okay.
But Yejier will happily chat with Hurik if he is also walking upstairs. If not, she'll just go drop off. I believe it was like the equivalent of 2-ish.
Yes.
I'll take that out of my inventory now. My notes say just so much stuff from 10th's workshop, and then the comment on that note is like so much stuff. The secondary comment is it fills the bag.
I like it fills the bag as a note for back of holding inventory.
Yeah, so that's
Bag
like
of holding full.
Yeah.
50 cubic feet or something like that. It's an insane amount.
Yeah, it's something like that. It is an awful lot. Oh, his pictures are on the other computer.
64 cubic feet.
Yes, yep. And it would be jam-packed for sure. Yeah, I'll have to put it in Discord later. But somewhere I do have an image of Hurik that I can share with you. I just forgot to transfer it from my writing and world building computer to the streaming computer because they are not the same device. But yeah, like I don't know how long you're gonna stay, but I'd happily have you. I mean, all of you. Did the other two of you know anything about magic?
Cole's gonna nod.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Do you know any metallurgy?
No energy.
Well, I can always use an extra set of hands.
Oh, I was pulling your leg, but yeah, sure.
Yeah.
They're
Cole.
both good with fire.
One of us is.
He looks up to Cole. I hate you sometimes.
Cole also say, I'd be curious to hear about the magic theory you used in your creation of 10th.
Well, most of it was done for me. That's the part I'm really struggling with, and why I'm not sure I could do it again.
Cole cock his head to the side. From your teacher?
No. From, well, 10th's grandfather, I guess is probably how you heard of him.
Yeah.
From his notes. Let me tell you, his notes are really badly laid out. Like, they're brilliant. I don't understand most of them. Like, the guy was a genius. But I think he was also kind of losing his mind a bit. At least they're laid out that way. But also, I
Cole's
think he
gonna-
might have been legitimately losing his mind at one point. Yeah.
Cole will nod in understanding.
Yeah, I've been reading some books that have a similar feel. It takes a lot to understand magic theory.
Yeah. Yeah, theory wasn't always my best class load. But I mean, if I can figure it out a second time, then I think
Do you
I might be able to figure out more.
do you
Yeah.
have the notes? Would you mind me looking at them with you?
Mm, I mean, I
Is
have
that
them.
persuasion?
I not yet, because I mean that was. Yeah, go ahead and make a persuasion check.
I wish I had an inspiration, but Daddy needs a new pair of magic books. Eh.
Uh, uh, I mean, as we're working on stuff, like you can take a peek at what I have out there, but there's some of it can't let I can't let somebody who just walked in the door lay eyes on, you know? Like this is I have I have been told and convinced by the caller and by one of my late teacher's friends that this is something that could be very bad if the wrong people figured out how to do it. And I'm not saying I think you would, but I just have to be careful, you know? No offense, but I can't I think be too free with a lot of the certainties.
No offense taken. I completely understand. There are some things that need a bit of secrecy until they're fully understood.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
actually, you read some of the notes in the workshop.
I don't think she could actually read them.
Nope.
Yeah. I mean, I looked at them, but they didn't make sense to me, literally. They weren't in anything I understood, a language I understood.
Yeah, they were in a very strange written language. There's still a lot of diagrams, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, no, what you and your or tenth grandfather have done is it's a work of art,
Yeah.
from what I understood.
Yeah. I, I suppose so.
Hmm. Tenth is alive in a way.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, no. I don't think anybody could ever accuse him of not being alive. He's got more life in him than half the kids I went to school with. He just
Oh,
shows it different. He had to learn. He had to learn how to be alive. You know, the first several weeks were what made me accept that in some ways I kind of was his father. Like I had to teach him how to walk. I had to teach him how to speak. I had to teach him how to be a person. You know, I don't even know how to be a person. Like I'm a kid, but we're doing something nobody knows how to do. So we're figuring it out as we go.
it'll be fun.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah. But yeah, maybe we can get started on it tomorrow.
Yeah. Do you want me to just meet you here with my supplies?
Yeah.
She pats her bag. Her supplies are always with her. Who's she kidding?
Yeah. Yeah, just come by sometime in the morning after breakfast, and I should at least be mostly ready to go, I think.
AJ nods. She has her plans now made apparently for possibly the rest of the week. We'll see.
Science.
Science.
Engineering.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so we dropped off the kids.
Yep.
We got a we got a place to stay. Um, anything else on the agenda? I need to find an alchemist.
And also looking for wine. Oh, we didn't bring up the arm. I'm sure Cole would not have
Oh.
forgotten.
Yeah. He'll bring that out. This was an item we found while exploring the ruins near Darbiton. And I was curious if you're able to build this out so it could fit someone who is missing an entire arm.
He takes the prosthetic and looks it over, and he pauses and gives Cole a weird look, and he goes, "Where are you guys staying?"
The Black Moon.
Is this for the innkeeper? I heard she
Cole will
only has
chuckle.
I heard she was missing an arm.
Cole will chuckle. Oddly enough, no. It is for another friend of ours who is missing their arm as well.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I can do that. That shouldn't be a problem. Is there a time you need it by?
Within this week, it will need to fit in work.
Okay.
Or
Yeah, that's sure. Yeah, it'll probably take me 2 days, I think. It might not be, the biggest or the fanciest kind of thing, but I can make it look decent and make it work.
Perfect.
And that'll be more or less in line with we can probably just squeeze it into when we're working on arms for one of the siblings this week. Yeah, I'll have everything set up for that, so that should work pretty good.
the side project to the side project.
I was gonna say there's gonna be like 16 arms for you to choose from.
Yeah, sure, no problem. If you guys were willing to stay and help, that's fine with me. I don't have a lot of money to pay you for your help. Right now, I kind of sunk it all into my son. Um, but if you'd be willing to trade the work for that repair, that would be okay with me. Or I guess that modification.
I'm more than happy with that arrangement. And I'm
You're
gonna
not
glance
doing
at.
shit.
Hey, well, no, I'm gonna help. Like I said, talk in theory. It sounds like his magic craft is a bit different.
Yeah, wee bit.
This one?
Yeah.
Hold the light still, Cole.
I'm having flashbacks.
Uh, but yeah. Uh, yes, let's see. An alchemist you were looking for? You were looking for a bottle of wine, and there was something else? No. Sorry.
I kept thinking there was something else.
Yeah. I think that was it.
And now I'm making you think there's something else.
Yeah. Yeah. Otherwise, if you guys don't have anything left for him, or if you wanted to ask him about any of that, you could. Um, Otherwise, he'll just go back to work and start wrapping up whatever he was doing to get ready to start building a person tomorrow. So your call.
Yeah, she is good to leave him be.
Yeah. We can pester him more tomorrow.
Fair enough. Okay, then where do you guys want to head to next?
Well, we don't need the wine immediately. Do we go to the alchemist?
Yeah, sure.
I was gonna say I have no thoughts or opinions on this.
Alright. Alchemist, we go. We need to find them because I didn't get an address. Fuck it.
Okay, yeah. Sure, make an investigation check for me as you start trying to find where a random person is in a city without an address. A lesser used, but I believe still, like, in the book supported use of an investigation roll.
Also, I did drop Huric into the Discord.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, there he is.
Wow.
That's the one. I gotta put it up. I gotta save it so that I can show chat before we're done here.
I was so close.
And yet, so far.
Yeah. Da, da, da. Okay, yeah. So asking around with just the name you have, you weren't even given a full name. You were just given the name Babine. And that's not a lot to go on other than that doesn't sound like a very likely to be repeated name. It's not like I'm looking for John Smith kind of thing. Um, and so it doesn't take super long before somebody gives you a more defining description, at least, of the person you're looking for. So in Evard, there is another color of Dragonborn that does not officially exist in 5e, and it is extremely rare, and it stands out. And you are told that this Dragonborn is one of these, and this is an Amber Dragonborn.
That he's pretty.
And that she is also very young.
She. I'm sorry. My bad.
You good? You have no way to know. Your Nemo didn't know that. I don't expect Rad to know that. But yeah. So you're told to look for an Amber Dragonborn girl. Okay, that's not the person. And you don't have to really look around a ton before you're able to find her. Because you just get directed to a house, not a store or a lab or anything like that, just a residence on the far east side of town, actually fairly close to the gate. For chat, as reference, this is Hurrick, the young mole artificer they just met. Thank you, Pez, for finding that. But you do find the house you were told and directed to look for, and it does seem like there's activity inside and people around. But there's no like sign or major marking, so you would have to knock and see if this is the right place. and I assume you would do so.
Yes.
Okay. And then we will pick up, once again, the knock on the door cliffhanger when we pick up again next time,
Okay.
since it is already 10 o'clock. Sorry, we ran a little late. But I wanted to make sure we ended with some direction to pick up on.
Yeah.
Always helps, especially since we're going to go on new baby leave for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Babies.
babies. But yeah, thanks for playing tonight, guys. I have no idea how long we will have before Pez and I are feeling like we can handle another session, but I do know we are both very excited to get back to this as soon as we feel we are ready. So hopefully it won't be super duper long. We can always attempt to do like retcon travel conversations in RP stuff in text in Discord if you guys want, and we can like read those back for chat sometime if we ever want to, if anything fun happens. But we still have ways to keep your momentum and keep your head in line with your characters during the interim. So
Hooray!
yeah, thanks for playing, and we'll be back at it as quick as we can. But until then, you guys have a good rest of your night.
Yeah,
Yep.
so excited for you.
Thanks, Ilf.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Best of luck, Ulf and Pez.
Thank
Hope
you.
everything goes smoothly for you.
Yeah,
Heck
thanks.
yeah.
We're
Thanks,
hoping so.
everyone. Good night.
Good
Good
night.
night.
That is.
Bye.
Okay. So there we go, chat. Let me sit so you guys can actually kind of see me when I put the camera up, since I have my silly crooked camera right now. But yeah, thanks for following along and getting to this point with us. I am excited for what the campaign holds in store moving forward from here. And even though I will be largely sleep deprived and distracted trying to learn how to take care of a child, there's always parts of my mind turning gears about Evard and what I can do for the campaign. So I'm sure I will somewhere in there come up with at least one really fun idea that gets implemented into the next couple sessions after we pick back up. So thanks for following along, everybody. Again, I don't know how long it will be before we pick up again. Keep an eye on our Discord, and I will put announcements there as soon as we start planning to get back at it. But yeah, until then, thanks again. Watch the VODs on YouTube to get your Evard fix if you feel the need, and stay tuned because eventually there will be more to follow. If I can click on the right